Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode on Talking Fight of Neil the Deal with Neil the Deal himself. Friday evening, so we're on a little bit early, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. And Neil, before we get going, I got to say, you did a great episode last night on Tyson Fury, and you learn something new every day. I did not know he was born in Lancashire, which is where I was born. Hey, Tyson, if you're out there and listening, I was born in the Fullwood Infirmary, which is in Preston, Lancashire. Pretty cool. So there you go. So tonight we've got another big boy lined up on the episode, featuring all British fighters this week. So you know what? They seem to be having a great old time in the heavyweight division. So who you got lined up tonight?
Hey, good evening, Graham. Thanks for having me out. Good evening, guys. Talking fight fans all around the world. Thanks for coming out and checking out the show. Yeah, we're going to continue with the fighters of the UK, and we're going to wrap it up tonight with the challenger. I guess he's not really a challenger because he's got more belts than Tyson Fury, but we're going to be talking about Anthony Joshua, guys. Anthony Joshua. So he's going to be the individual who will be fighting Tyson Fury for the unified heavyweight championship of the world later on this year. Like we had mentioned yesterday, they haven't actually got a date or a location for the fight. I understand richest man wins on that one, apparently, from what I've been reading. So they're battling it out. All these different guys from Asia, guys from Saudi Arabia, guys. So, but as far as I can see, it will be when it does go down, it will be the biggest, probably the biggest fight in British boxing history. So you guys definitely want to watch this one. It will obviously be a pay-per-view, but I think it's one that everybody wants to check out. So. Yesterday, we talked about Tyson Fury. Today, we're going to talk about his opponent, Anthony Joshua. They call him OBE. I don't exactly know why, but he does have a nickname. Everybody seems to call him AJ. And when he was a younger kid, all his buddies and his teachers apparently in school used to call him Femi. Femi. F-E-M-I. Now, that's because of his middle name. So we'll go over that. His parents are of Nigerian descent. So his full name is Anthony Oluwafemi Olaseni Joshua. Olaseni Joshua. So, like I say, in school he was nicknamed Femi, and that's how all his buddies probably. My buddies still call me by my nicknames from when I was high school. They're not the greatest. I'm not even going to get into that, but I'm sure some of his buddies still call him Femi. And he says, no, my name's AJ now, So he was born October 15th, 1989, which makes him 31 years old. He was born in Watford, United Kingdom. Do you know where Watford is, Graham?
Not off the top of my head. No, I don't.
No? Just curious if that's in the southern region.
Just after I admitted I was born in England, and you pull that question out of your hat. No, you got me there. I don't know where Watford is.
I know where London, England is, but I don't know any of the other towns really. You know what I mean? So I'm just curious if because a lot of these boxers, Graham, that we've been talking about are from that southern area of England. I mean, like I say, they all seem to be in the southern area. So I'm just curious if Watford was in the southern area. So let's move on here. His career started in 2013, and he is actively present at the present moment. He fights in the heavyweight division. And he's had a really good career so far, like really, really good. So he's the two-time unified world heavyweight champion. 2 times he has won that distinction. And he won the first one in 2016, and he held those belts until 2019. And since then, he has regained them from 2019 to present. So basically from 2016 to present, he's been the unified champion or close to it, Tyson Fury does have the WBC belt now, obviously, and the Ring Magazine belt, but that's going to be determined in the next few months. I understand it's going to be May or June, and it's a 2-fight deal, so it's going to be a mega fight. So, guys, check it out. You're going to really like this one. Back in his early days, he also held the British and Commonwealth titles, 2015 and 16, and growing up in school, he was a really good athlete growing up. So he was great at football. He was an excellent track star. So he's got a very athletic upbringing, and he's moved it into the boxing ring. Apparently, one of his cousins got him into the boxing, and he's excelled at that. He's done really, really well. So, before he became a boxer, this was interesting for me too. He was a bricklayer. He was a bricklayer. He, stonemason, bricklayer. So that's pretty cool. I kind of enjoy that. So I just thought, he decided bricklaying wasn't his thing, and I guess boxing was. So we're going to talk a little bit about his pro totals, or amateur totals now. So his amateur totals, he had a great amateur career, Graham. I didn't realize he was actually involved in the amateur fighting that much. I do remember him in one Olympics. So let's just go over his amateur totals. He had a total of 43 fights, of which he won 40 fights, and he lost 3 fights out of the 43. So that's a pretty good record. He began boxing in 2007 at the age of 18, which is a little late to be starting, but hey, he's done really well, obviously, starting at 18 years old. He won the 2009-2010 Haringey Box Cup. Now, I wanted to look into that, and I didn't look at it, but I'm going to look into that. I've never heard of this amateur boxing tournament, I guess. It's called a Haringey. So I'm going to look into that and just check it out. If you guys want to check that out, check it out. He won the senior ABA championships in 2010 as well. 2010, he also became Great Britain's boxing team member for Great Britain, and he was the champion at the Great Britain Championships that year. So, every time he seems to come up against something or try something new, he excels very well. So he's doing fantastic. You know what I mean, Graham?
Yeah.
In 2011, he was named Amateur Boxer of the Year in Great Britain by the Boxing Writers Club. So he's got that distinction under his belt. And in 2011, he won the silver medal at the World Championships for Great Britain. And the biggest amateur accomplishment he had in 2012, he won the gold medal at the 2008 Beijing Olympics in the super heavyweight division. So he is a gold medal Olympic champion. So he's had a really, really good amateur career, and he's represented his country obviously very, very well. And then he moved into his pro game, and his pro game, he got better. He got a little older and he got a little better, and he's a serious cat, this guy, like big time, So his pro totals, we're going to go with 25 total fights. He's got 25 total fights, of which he has 24 wins out of 25 fights. He has 22 KOs, which gives him a knockout percentage of 88%. He does have the one loss, and we'll talk about that later on. He turned pro in 2013, like we had mentioned, and he had a 20-fight knockout streak going, Graham. His first 20 fights, he knocked out all his opponents, first 20, until he won a unanimous decision over his 21st opponent. So he's got some power. There's no doubt about it. That's some serious knockout power. 22 out of 24 is big time, right? So he lost that one fight. It was a unified heavyweight championship fight, and he lost the belts to Andy Ruiz Jr. We know who Andy Ruiz Jr. is, and that was on June 1st, 2019. That fight is one that I think you guys should watch because it was kind of back and forth. Like Ruiz went down, Anthony went down, Ruiz went down. It was one of those where, but in the end, he did lose that fight, and he lost his belts to Ruiz. But there was a rematch scheduled for December 7th, 2019, and he regained all his belts back from Ruiz. So that was, I believe, the shortest reign as a champion or something like that with Andy Ruiz Jr. It was something like 85 days or something like that. So since then, he's held those belts. And he's never ducked anybody. I looked at all the opponents that he's fought. He's fought world champions. He's fought everybody and anybody who they put him up against. He's fighting. Now he's getting up into the last couple of years. He's getting up into the really high-end fighters, the big-time heavyweight fighters in the world. So, like I say, he's going to be apparently fighting Tyson Fury, and that's going to be probably one of the biggest fights of the year. So you guys all want to check that out. And I think that's going to be his toughest fight yet, Graham. You know what I'm saying? You know, Tyson Fury is a different entity at 6'9", although Joshua is 6'6", and he is 250 pounds. So, I mean, you're talking about a guy 6'9", 280 pounds against a guy 6'6", 250 pounds. So this is going to be a serious battle between these two behemoth, I would call them, heavyweights. They're just giants. So this is going to be fun. He's recognized right now, amazingly enough, as one of the most marketable athletes in the world, Graham, which I didn't realize either. He's got a lot of sponsorship going. He's sponsored by Under Armour. He's sponsored by Dr. Dre and those Beats headphones. You know, the ones you stick on your head, the Dr. Dre Beats. You know, boom, 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 that kind of stuff. And apparently, there's a energy drink company out of Japan that has paid him handsomely. And there, some company called Lucozade. Lucozade is a Japanese energy drink company. Have you heard of them? And they sell a lot in the United Kingdom, but I haven't seen them here in Canada. Have you ever seen a Lucozade drink?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like orange Fanta, but a little bit healthy for you. If you're a little bit feeling under the weather, you'd have a Lucozade. My mom would certainly buy bottles of this stuff, and would find it in specialty stores when we moved to Canada. So yeah.
Oh, really? Eh?
I've heard of it. I didn't know it was a Japanese company though.
Yeah, apparently they've been around since the 20s. So it's not a newer company or anything. But he's sponsored by Lucozade and as well, like we said, Dr. Dre, and he's a very, very marketable individual around the world. He's very, very well known, and he's only moving up. So I'm really looking forward again to this fight that's coming up. Now, the notable fights that I've seen and watched him in, I seen him back in the day on some undercards, and he was his first literally 10 or 15, maybe even 20 fights didn't last much more than a round. So he didn't really get a lot of ring time, so to speak. You know what I mean? So, but recently he's been getting a little more ring time, so that's good. That'll keep him in the mix, right? But the notable fights that I saw that I really liked, obviously, were Joshua versus Andy Ruiz 1 and 2. They were both really good fights. The one fight that I really liked was when he fought Vladimir Klitschko. Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko. There was rumbling that there was going to be a rematch, but Klitschko decided to retire. So there was never the rematch on that one. And then his most recent fight, December 2019, he fought a guy named Kubat Pulev, who was the number one challenger for the belt, for all the belts, and he ended up knocking him out, and that was a good fight too. So if you guys want to check him out, those fights are really good. He was also appointed a member of the Order of the British Empire. That is a big award, is it not, Graham? Member of the Order of the British Empire for his services to boxing in 2000.
Yes. That's a great accolade. That's where you get the OBE from.
Yeah, OBE. That's what I was going to ask you. The OBE is the Order of British Empire. That is correct, right? Yep. Which is really cool. So, now we're going to talk just quick at the end here a little bit about his pay-per-view stuff. I was really shocked to see that this is probably why he's one of the most marketable guys. He has over 12 million buys in the UK. In the pay-per-view buys, all right, in all of his pay-per-view fights, just out of the UK. He's only had 2 international pay-per-view fights, international pay-per-views like DAZN or, you know, ESPN or Showtime or, you know, all the different Top Rank, whatever it is. But in those 2 fights, he's got 18 million buys. So he's really bringing in the people, and everybody's looking forward to seeing him again. Like, I'm really looking forward to this big Tyson Fury fight. It's going to be again, could be fight of the year. There's a bunch of them this year between Canelo and Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. There's some big fights coming up. So all you boxing fans out there, this is going to be a great year for all of us. Hey, Graham, I really truly believe it will be.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, who's not looking forward to the Battle of Britain? Me too.
That's right. The Battle of Britain. I know. Yeah, it's unbelievable that like we've been talking about the British heavyweight fighters, man. There's so many of these guys that are so good now. It's going to be interesting to see how the Americans and all the different heavyweights around the world are going to react to all this. And you know how the Americans are. They're going to definitely want to have somebody in there sooner than later, right? So
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Deontay Wilder is going to get in the mix after this fight too. So he's going to want his chance at glory and money.
oh,
Anyway,
big time. Oh, big time. He wants it right now, but he already did the 2 Fury fights
yeah,
but he'll be back for sure. He's definitely in the mix. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, who they match him up with, and he might even be the guy that fights the winner of these two guys, right? You know,
that's what I think.
so
That's what I think.
yeah, so that definitely could come true. So it is Friday. I guess you guys are going to have yourselves a good evening. Have yourselves a safe weekend. Enjoy yourselves. We're going to be back Monday, 7 p.m.
Yes,
And
sir.
yeah, so I hope you guys again have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. Have fun with the kids, whatever you're doing, and stay safe. We'll talk to you then. Enjoy.
Thank you very much. And just on that England tip, Watford is just on the northwest corner of London, about 50. I'm not going to say a small town, but a smallish town just on the northwest corner, about 15 miles outside of London. So if you're asking about the south, yeah, I would say he's part of that southern contingent of boxers that are becoming so famous these days, as opposed to the Tyson Furies who come from Lancashire, which is not the southern part of England.
Right. All right.
But
Cool. Well, they're whatever's going on over there, they're doing it right because they all seem to be in the mix now, and they're all great
fun.
fighters. All the guys, all the British fighters. I want to thank you guys all for all the great fights and stuff, and we'll be looking out for all of you guys: Daniel Dubois, Anthony Yard, Tyson Fury. Yeah, like just all of them. Anthony Joshua. There's just a ton of them, right? Billy Joe Saunders is coming up too. So it's been a blast hanging out in the UK all week, man. It's been fun. So thanks again, guys. See you later. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you soon. See you Monday, 7 p.m.
Thank you. We'll see you then.